must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Contestants did not follow the COVID regulations. They were defying the regulation of not congregating, and they were gathering sizable numbers of people, which of course would facilitate infection. I campaigned in the whole country by using indirect methods, holding leaders' meetings of not more than 200 people, or if there are more than 200, separated in the same venue, then using the radios. Even when I would come across large gatherings which would gather spontaneously, I would not come out to wave to them. Instead, I would sit inside the car and drive slowly, wave to them from inside the car, and continue. Nevertheless, the campaigns have now come to an end. The voting is the day after tomorrow. I call upon all registered voters to come out and vote. There have been practices of intimidation where especially the opposition people have been threatening people not to come out and vote. In some areas, they have even attacked peaceful citizens. I held a meeting with the security forces. They are ready to defend you. Therefore, don't fear anything. Come out and vote. Nobody will intimidate you. Nobody will attack you. If anybody tries to do that, we shall get him or her. So therefore, don't fear anything. Go out and vote. You saw how the rioters were defeated in Kampala here. There's no threat we cannot defeat. Don't miss the chance to vote. You go out and vote. We shall defend you. We have got all sorts of means. Simple means and complex means. There's no part of Uganda where we cannot reach, if not on foot, but by air, using all sorts of modern technology. I urge all citizens to keep peace. Keeping peace is a duty. It's not a favor. Sometimes some youth, especially in Kampala area, they come and tell me how they are planning this, how their leaders were telling them to plan bad things. You should tell everybody that keeping peace is a duty, it's not a favor. If you try to disturb peace, you'll have yourself to blame. The security forces, following the law, are ready to deal with any troublemaker. Therefore, do not be tempted to blame.
Of my colleagues, the Honorable Amoriat and General Montu, and to further mentioned that we cannot take so much time overemphasizing on the impunity and lawlessness that we have had to stand the last 2 months. As you all know, ladies and gentlemen, standing against General Museveni is a more dangerous crime than any crime we know here in Uganda. As we stand here today, abductions are ongoing, killings are ongoing, and arrests are ongoing. Just my entire team was arrested in Kalangala. Only 46 were released. More than 100 continue to languish in prisons. Many arrests are ongoing. Last night, there were raids on more of my team members and some of the leaders of the National Unity Platform. Mr. Rule David Wanika, also known as Selector Devi, was raided by the military. His doors broken and he was taken away. Nobody knows where he is. Last night, one of our team members, my driver sometimes and works mainly as a mechanic, one Katerega, was shot by the military and he passed away this morning. And again this morning, my house was raided. 2 of my gardeners were taken away and my security guard was beaten very, very badly. That is what we have to deal with, ladies and gentlemen. But while this is ongoing, the Electoral Commission is silent. We have reported numerous times to the Electoral Commission. We've informed them that even the polling agents that we sent out there, even the coordinators that have been identifying and recruiting polling agents are being rounded up and arrested and charged with recruiting rebels. That is the election under General Museveni. The Electoral Commission has been conspicuously silent and continues to be silent even when we raise these complaints, both physically and in writing. The only time the Electoral Commission has come up is to actually castigate the victims, us. The Electoral Commission recently continued to expose its bias by stopping me from further campaign. And indeed, I've not been able to campaign for the last 5 days because the Electoral Commission said I had to sign an illegal memorandum of understanding with them. That is where we are. We know that all this is being done to intimidate and discourage people. We know that by deploying the military and police in all places, by arresting our members, by arresting people indiscriminately, the regime is trying to discourage Ugandans from turning up in large numbers and vote. So I will not dwell on the challenges that we are facing. Let me go straight to the message that all of us as the forces of change seek to communicate to you this morning. We are raising our voice in unison and agreeing that indeed it is time for Uganda to have change. We are therefore adding our voices together to call upon all of you fellow Ugandans to turn up in large numbers and vote. By now, all voters have made up their mind. By now, we know all voters know who they want to vote for. But most importantly, we are convinced that all voters in Uganda would want a better Uganda, a peacefully changing Uganda. Therefore, we call upon all of you fellow Ugandans to turn up and vote. Please communicate this message.
Very good morning to you, and thank you for joining us. That is the opposition leader there that is giving President Museveni some sleepless nights there in Uganda. And as we speak today, Uganda goes to its elections, and President Museveni is running for his 6th term there in Uganda, and Bobi Wine, 38 years old, is determined to put a stop to that. Very good morning. My name is Miriam Mugutu, and this is Diplomatic Leaks. And our show today, we're going to look at the elections that are ongoing right now in Uganda. We've been having these conversations, I think, since 2 years ago, me and Dr. Matanga, and lately we've been just trying to bring our viewers up to date with a situation there in Uganda. So before I bring in my panelists, polling stations have opened across Uganda for presidential and parliamentary elections amid increasing tension and an internet shutdown. Journalists in Uganda have been posting pictures and videos of queues at polling stations in the capital, Kampala. Yesterday, while we were having this conversation, we knew that the Ugandan government had ordered the closure of all social media networks, but yesterday in the evening at around 7 p.m., all internet access were cut. And so to help me out in looking and delving into this issue, I'm joined by Professor Jared Onyari. Professor, very good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Miriam, Kidi, Chavan, Douglas, our viewers from wherever they are around the world.
All right, good morning, and indeed, good morning to you, Douglas Kirimi from Meru.
Good morning, Miriam. Good morning to our crew at our headquarters in Nairobi. Good morning to Professor Jared Onyari. Good morning to Kidi Mwaga. Good morning to Jevan Karanja. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our viewers across the world, especially the people of Uganda.
Okay, good morning to you, Douglas, and good morning, Jevan Karanja.
Good morning to you, Miriam, and good morning to our viewers wherever they are watching us from. And those from Uganda, continue the spirit of fighting for a revolution and to take the Museveni regime home. And good morning to my friend Douglas, Kidi Mwanga, and to our good Professor Jared Onyari. Thank you for having me.
Okay. I've noted your choice of words there. I think you used them yesterday when we were having this conversation. The revolution and, of course, the national resistance movement in saying, we are going to resist that revolution. But how successful will they do that in these elections that have attracted international? I think everybody's watching to see the elections in Uganda and how they'll pan out. I don't know whether because of Bobi Wine and what is the difference now and the elections that they've had before. And I think perhaps that will form part of our conversation this morning. And also we are joined by Kidi Mwaga, a lawyer from Nairobi. Kidi, a very good morning to you. Okay.
Yes, thank you. A very good morning to you, Miriam. Good morning, very good morning to able co-panelists, Professor Jared Onyari, Ndugu Jevan Karanja, Ndugu Douglas Bundi Kirimi, and a very good morning and afternoon to our viewers in Uganda and around the world. Thank you.
All right, very well. And I see our viewers have already started interacting with us. Keep writing to us, and we shall be, I shall be reading some of your comments. And thank you so much for participating. I'll just start with one of you here, Juma Smith. Thank you for your commitment to, and reaching our show. Thank you so much. And all of you who are watching this morning, you're saying Ugandans need a more serious candidate than Bobi Wine. I've never heard him propagate any platform apart from people power. And you know what, Juma, you pointed that out, I think 2 days ago, and I labored myself and I went and looked for Bobi Wine's manifesto, because I also wondered the same. So I don't know, maybe he's not been very successful into selling the manifesto. He's been more focused on removing President Museveni from power, as Jevan puts it there, a revolution. And then maybe the manifesto will take center stage after that. I don't know if that is the strategy, but I have part of that today. I will get to look at what Bobi Wine has promised to do in line with changing the situation in Uganda. So, Professor, we played earlier the clip of President Museveni there saying nobody should intimidate Ugandans. And he was speaking to the press on Wednesday there. But from the images we've been seeing going on in Uganda, there is no way you can convince me that anybody else outside of the government has the ability to intimidate Ugandans.
Yeah, thank you for that good question, Miriam. Museveni, he has got the fear of the unknown. The fear of the unknown here is he has been a darling of the West. The West supported him. Let me just call the West. They supported him. They propelled him. They supported him. They gave him all the funds he needed. But he has outlived his usefulness. The same people who have been supporting him have turned against him. So when he's talking about that, he knows. And Miriam, the days of a dictator are numbered. He may be removed today, but let me tell you that the channel for his removal from office has started. So to go straight to your question, yes, he's right, because the support he was getting from the West is gone.
Okay. Douglas?
Yes, Miriam, I think I've said before, and I'll repeat, that Museveni has reached the age of diminishing returns in concerning the politics of Uganda, and also the people of the world, and also the people of goodwill, and also people who have been supporting him all along. We have seen the way the US has responded to that, the European Union, and everyone. The only group or grouping that has not spoken is the AU. I ask Mohamed Faki to speak on the issue in Uganda. AU has been used as a tool before when the army in Mali said that they are going to escort the president out of the presidential palace. The AU was seen to have been wearing and talking and giving press conferences, but the issue in Uganda here, they are not talking about it. Why are they not talking about it? So the chairperson of AU and also Mohamed Faki and the secretariat at AU, they need to talk about the issue in Uganda. But I hope the people of Uganda today are going to wake up and also reclaim the glory of their nation. Another thing that I think is going to happen in Uganda is this. I think Museveni now has reached the age of diminishing returns. He knows that he is going home, and I hope he is going on this day, because the people of Uganda have shown him their true colors. The silent majority has been speaking through Bobi Wine. Bobi Wine is not the most perfect candidate to replace Museveni, but he is the alternative that they need to move forward. I think, and this is my uneducated guess, that Museveni is leaving power today.
All right, very well. And yes, keep writing to me. Let me just go through some of the comments by our viewers here. And Kasianas Shadzeka, you're saying Bobi Wine could be the missing jigsaw, and you're also adding that many African dictators will always rig. So what our viewer there is saying, essentially, Javan, is that perhaps there has been some people who have tried to remove President Yoweri Museveni from power, but they're not successful. But perhaps Bobi Wine could be the right man to do the job. What do you make of that, Javan?
Yeah, thank you very much. And you know, Miriam, when you stay in these powers, you need to know when to retire and to go home. Therefore, the people of Uganda have tired, and they want to break the monotony of having one person in this position of power for a quite period. He has extended, he has overstayed in position. Therefore, whether Bobi Wine, and we had a viewer who was saying, Smith, saying that Bobi Wine has no other agenda apart from people's power. And I want to tell Smith that at this moment, what the people of Uganda want is to send this dictator home. And therefore, their main agenda today is to go and vote out Museveni. Then from there, whoever will win, maybe if not Museveni, then will come sit down with the people of Uganda, and they formulate and they come up with an agenda that will favor all of Ugandans without maybe sidelining them. But for today, I think the main agenda and the main purpose they are going to the ballot is not more to the development agenda of the country, but to see Museveni going home, because they think after Museveni going home, then opportunities will be opened. A fair platform will be opened where people can come without being intimidated to air their grievances, to say what is wrong with their country. But for now, that is something that has been denied, because these people, they have no right of expression, they have no right to air their grievances. And you see, even the media have been curtailed. Therefore, these people are in dark. Therefore, I feel today is the day they want to usher in a new moment. From there, now they can have a platform where they can air what they feel is good for their country in terms of development and their prosperity. Therefore, I feel like like, and as our viewer is saying there, that Museveni is likely to rig himself in. That is something that is most likely, because at the end of the day, is a man who does not want to leave power, because these dictators, what they do, they have a feeling of entitlement that they are the only people who are suitable to remain in this position, come rain, come sunshine. Therefore, I see a situation whereby Museveni will try to force himself into power, but that will be the beginning of a strong revolution that what we have been seeing. And as I said yesterday, what we have been seeing going on the street by Ugandans, that was just a presser. What is coming from today, this is the day that the revolution will start, because I see if the will of the people diverted, then that will be a thorn on the flesh of those people who want a revolution, those people who want a good regime in power. Therefore, the struggle continues from today onwards. Therefore, the Ugandans keep struggling, because there's nothing that is permanent in this world, and the Museveni is not the alpha and omega in that country. Okay. Therefore, keep the moment of fighting on and ensure that you have good leadership going on. Okay. And if Bobby Wine will not fit to that position, you have an opportunity to get somebody else who can do better than maybe who will be elected as a president. Thank you. All right,
very well. Even as we continue with this conversation, it's quite interactive today, and I'll be getting a lot of the questions here from our viewers. And Thomas Gador Makok, you're saying, I think Bobby chose the wrong platform. To fight such heartless dictator can't be a start from the prepared prospect he chosen. However, we know him as a winner, even if he lost, as he will under the aspects of the Yoweri Museveni. I think we all stand for Bobby Wine's win. So you're saying, despite of what is happening, what they know will happen is that President Museveni will continue being the president, and but still they will recognize Bobby Wine there as the winner. And Mwanamoyo Kayebeta, you're saying, but what will Museveni offer the people of Uganda that he has not done in the recent years? And that has been the question that even President Museveni himself has been asked during numerous media interviews there. And very particularly, I was watching another one, and I think we played that part of the clip here yesterday, when he said, you know what, I still want to sort out Ugandans' issues. So if they don't want me to sort out their issues, and then I will go home. And I'm thinking, okay, that is a very, I don't know if that answer inspires confidence enough. But Kidi, a lot of people are asking, what is it that President Museveni has not done in 34 years that he thinks he can now want to do in the next 6 years, should he be re-elected, which is likely to happen?
Well, you know, the first thing that we must appreciate is that when a leader overstays in power, he definitely runs out of ideas. He settles in and becomes comfortable and forgets that the power is ordinarily derived from the people. You look at how Museveni has run Uganda, and the number of times that the constitution has been mutilated, not to serve the interest of ordinary Ugandans, but to serve his own selfish political whims. And you realize that Uganda has made a dramatic shift from dictatorship to Pol Potism. And I'm drawing from the dictator called Pol Pot. Uganda has sunk into deeper tyranny, into deeper subjugation, and to deeper theft of resources, because Museveni has used Uganda as a personal fiefdom, where his son is the head of the military, and he runs the country according to his personal whims. The question is, what has he not done in 34 years that he thinks he's going to do now when he's in his late 70s, getting into 80s, when senility is setting in, when dementia is setting in? Okay. I would tell you that the answer to that question is raw desire for power. And it is having power for power's sake. Because if Museveni talks about creating peace in Uganda, creating stability, creating prosperity, we know that a sane, reasonable leader makes sure that he makes himself irrelevant by each new day by investing in other people and in institutions that would carry forward his dream long after he is gone.
All right.
Museveni has not invested on the political architecture of Uganda. Instead, what we've seen is tyranny meted out not only on civilians, but also on political leaders who are attempting to articulate alternative vision. So time has come for Museveni, surely, to call it quits and to allow democracy to take root in Uganda once again.
All right.
Thank you.
Very well. Thank you so much. So journalists are reporting delays in the delivery of voting materials in some polling stations in Uganda. And those who have tweeted from various polling stations said materials were yet to be delivered at 7 a.m. local time. That is when the polls are supposed to be open there in Uganda. But of course, as we speak, voting is underway. And yesterday in the evening, the authorities in Uganda cut off internet access in the country hours to a hotly contested presidential election, pitting a pop star against one of Africa's longest serving leaders. I know elections in Uganda have always attracted some international attention, but particularly this one has attracted a lot of attention in a different magnitude, and particularly from Kenyans here. Why do you think that is so, Professor?
Miriam, we are from East African community, and Uganda is our neighbor. We are trading partners, Miriam. A lot of businesses comes from Uganda, and be it as it may, we get concerned about what happens in the region, Miriam. I have always said, as a regional statesman, an ambassador for peace, a stable Uganda is a stable for Kenya. And one of the interests here is, even Museveni himself is involved in supporting one of the political divides in this country. Let me just go straight. He seems to be a darling of the deputy Prime Minister, Dr. William Ruto. So if we import the local politics here, is those who are pro Dr. William Ruto, Tanga, will want Museveni to win. And those of us who are in the Kereweke and who are having the contrary opinion, Miriam, will want him to lose. So what I'm trying to say that we have imported the Kenyan political scenario to Uganda. And that's where there is a lot of so much interest.
Okay. That makes sense. Now, Douglas, we've seen, okay, the internet was closed down yesterday. That was preceded by the closure, the shutting down of social media platforms. After Facebook tried to censor some of the accounts that were being operated by National Resistance Movement there. Like, the name of that party bothers me. 34 years into power and you still call yourself that. What are you resisting, President Yoweri Museveni? Perhaps democracy, I'm not sure. But Kenyans seems to have taken on and seems to be the voice of the majority of Ugandans there. And they're saying you might have closed the social media there, but we are going to speak from here and we're going to tell the world what we make of the Ugandan elections.
Thank you, Miriam. And for Museveni to do that now, I said again before that he would have crossed social media in 2018 and 2019 and 2020. As far as I'm concerned now, whatever is happening in Uganda, the world is seeing there are satellites in Uganda. There's nothing General Museveni can be able to do now. And that's why I'm saying my uneducated guess is a dictator is aided by some people. Around East Africa, Museveni is aided by people like William Ruto, who have donated stolen monies that were meant to build construction, the construction of roads and dams here, as bought choppers that Museveni is campaigning with in Uganda. In the West, the America, European Union, all those people have been supporting Museveni and they have withdrawn their support. The only person who has not withdrawn his support for Museveni is the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. And I hope the government of Kenya is going to step in and also be able to seize a Deputy President from doing such things in the region again. We have not seen President Uhuru Kenyatta do those things publicly, but even so in 2016, he went to Uganda and also campaigned for President Museveni. And if a dictator is not aided in power, some things are out to happen. So he is in a panicky mood, and also he is so worried that the social media constituency and also the silent majority supporters of Bobby Wine are going to strike very hard. And also, when you look at the geography and demographics of the voters in Uganda, Bobby Wine is poised to win this election. But like we have said before, the dictator is going to steal the election. If he's not going to steal the election, my uneducated guess is that he's going to leave power, but not without a fight. But he must come down. We are removing a dictator, and at this point, we need to ask people who are aiding this dictator staying in power to feel the pain of Ugandans. If a person like Deputy President William Ruto of the Republic of Kenya can aid a dictator to stay in power in Uganda, to continue mutilating and also killing people of Uganda, what is going to happen when he takes power in Kenya? What will happen? We have seen Deputy President William Ruto terrorizing Kenyans here, and we have seen he has been donating money and also choppers to Museveni to continue his misrule and dictatorship in Uganda. What will happen when he gets to power here? Please, Kenyans, don't vote for that man.
Okay. All right, but today we are talking about the Ugandan elections, and Mwanamoyo Kayabeta is saying, I think change is needed, however small or big. Change is important. Retire the old man today. And Thomas Gador Makok, you're saying, I think stability in Uganda is for all Africa. Thank you, Professor from Kenya. We all need peace and stability and goodness for people of Uganda. And overall, I am for Bobby Wine, please, as he's the man for this. What all people Uganda must lead from. All right, but I understand what you're saying. All right, keep writing. Okay. Eric Mutoma, come on. Good morning. Thank you for watching, and the rest of you. Keep writing. All right, we are talking about Uganda today, and the country has gone to its election. And yesterday, the government of Uganda, according to the internet monitoring group NetBlock, said on Twitter that the country descended into an internet blackout on Wednesday from 7 p.m. local time. Does that mean that, Karanja, from where you sit, is President Museveni that scared? Or what message is it trying to send out there?
Yeah, Miriam, maybe the power in Museveni in Uganda has been shaken. That is why maybe they feel it's good to intimidate them even at the last minute, as if intimidating them during the campaign and denying the opposition an opportunity to sell the agenda was not enough. Therefore, this shows that at the end of the day, Miriam, and as I was saying, the revolution, the move for change, a movement to call off this dictator has started. And that is why he sees himself as, he has a lot of enemies. He has nowhere to run into. The US have disappeared, the EU, the AU, and so on. Therefore, he has left. The international body is looking at him. Therefore, it's just a matter of time before he realizes that he has been playing a game. And when you reach sometimes, you need to vacate and disappear and go for retirement. Therefore, the people of Uganda are determined. And this shows that from the looks of things, you saw the kind of movement and even into the areas that are dominated by the national resistance movement of Museveni. When Bobby Wine was going into those areas to campaign, people came in large numbers. I think this sent a signal to Museveni that people are quite tired, and that is why he is using all means to ensure that Bobby Wine or any other presidential candidate does not get into that position. Therefore, in conclusion, and as to answer your question directly, yes, Museveni has sensed a danger that his days are numbered, and his days of terror and to terrorize the people of Uganda are coming to an end very soon. And that day is today, because the revolution has already kick-started officially. And by today, because I know he'll try to force himself into power, then things will not sit pretty.
All right, very well. We have
on the streets, because as you saw during the campaign, therefore this is just the beginning of a long movement to ensure that Uganda gets back to a good leadership, and where voice to the voiceless will be heard, where respect to expression will be guaranteed.
All right, very well. Thank you so much, and we apologize for that hitch in terms of your reception over there. So let's look at what Zaka Sulu, you were saying. You've just interchanged the name Ashaka Zulu there, but thank you so much for watching us this morning. And you're saying, I fear what this dictator will do if he lost or even win the election. He has the military on his side because his son is the head of the military. Ugandans, please stand with Bobby Wine. He is doing this for all Ugandans. And Kidi.
Bobby Wine stands for a new generation of young people across Africa that are placing premiums on personal responsibility in shaping the nature of the political direction that Africa is going to take. And the history is on the side of the young people. Because, for instance, part of what has propped Museveni in power has been the interest of the West, as the professor rightly pointed out. Sometimes, because of political and economic expediencies, the West has worked with dictators in and across Africa, and this has ensured that billions of dollars from the West ends up propping regimes that do not have human rights records. Emergence of Bobi Wine speaks to emergence of a class of young Africans who are willing to stand up and be counted. Bobi Wine when he started this, didn't have very fancy education. He didn't have a fancy title, but then he stepped up and stepped in, and he has been able to mobilize young people around him and towards challenging the autocracy of Museveni. Going forward, we want to ensure that Bobi Wine and what Bobi Wine is doing in Uganda is emulated by other young people, that we do not have to sit back and have fancy education and have fancy titles before we can able to stand up to autocracy. Thank you.
All right. Very well. Thank you so much there, Kidis. Of course, people have been wondering, what is this manifesto that Bobi Wine has that he intends to change the lives of the people of Uganda, should he be given an opportunity for him to be a president? And Jevan, yesterday we posted this question, and your answer was rather very interesting. And you said, right now, the focus is just on the revolution. Take out President Museveni, and then after that, perhaps you can look into the manifesto of Bobi Wine. And I'm surprised. He has it very well done here. I went and did some research, and I got a part of that manifesto. And he's addressing the national security and international relations. And we know the national security of Uganda has been in a very strong hold and grip of President Museveni. I was shocked here. A doctor told us the other day that even in parliament, there is a slot for the military. So even Uganda's parliament is militarized, and that's how President Museveni has been able to rule that country. I would not say lead, I would say rule that country, because we know the elections that are happening there right now are quite symbolic, because from the reports that we've been hearing, and now we see one of the safeguards of ensuring a transparent and accountable elections and fair happen there in Uganda, like sharing of information through the internet, that they've been able to shut down. So if President Museveni has confidence on himself, and perhaps standing by his record, 34 years he's been in power, that he thinks to himself he's done a good job, as he's kept saying, then why do you think he's so worried about the world not getting the information or knowing the true situation, even as Ugandans go out there to decide, Professor? Then he must be doubting his track record there.
Miriam, when you read the history of Museveni, how he came from the bush, how he became the president, he was a very progressive president. He reconstructed that country, he brought stability in that country. But Miriam, all the promises that he was giving when he was in the revolutionary struggle, he has gone contrary to what he promised. So Miriam, being in the office more than 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 34 years, Miriam, there's nothing new that he is going to offer the people of Uganda. He's only clinging to power. And Miriam, I want to thank the opposition leaders of Uganda. You know very well, Dr. Besigye has been a very strong competitor. You know what he did to Besigye, Miriam. Thank God that he was able to be flown to Kenya and be attended at the Nairobi hospital. Otherwise, Besigye could have gone blind. This is the kind of man we are trying to see. They gave him his grandson. Bobi Wine is married 37. and Museveni is 76. See what he's trying to do with this young man. So what I want to echo is this, and Douglas and even Chavan is trying to see. The young generation is coming up. They have put a statement, Miriam. The Americans have withdrawn. They are not observing their election. The European Union are not observing its election. That is a huge statement, Miriam. So Museveni has got everything to fear. And even if he's going to rig himself today, life is not going to be the same. I have told Miriam, when you are in the struggle, it doesn't matter who takes over the struggle. The struggle, and that's why I thank Dr. Masanga and others. They have mentored that generation. Look at the Savara and stand as neck in the hole. They smoke it out. So Museveni is not safe. I submit, Miriam.
All right, very well. And we're joined by Dr. David Matanga. I've seen one of our viewers there asking, where is Dr. Matanga? And Doctor, when you're coming in, one of our viewers here, Kenny Chuma, is saying Uganda has inherent problem because they lack democratic spirit of leaving positions as at when due. Doctor, good morning and welcome to the show. All right, so as we wait for Doctor to join us, Kirimi, that comment there by our viewers.
Thank you very much. Sorry, thank you very much, my comrades. Thank you very much, viewers. I have been battling elsewhere, and I think you have been watching on international scene. I have another international scene at 1:45 with the Sky News and television station worldwide. And as I told you this time, and as I've told the other television stations, two things. This time, we finished the battle in Waterloo. Waterloo. You remember the Battle of Waterloo? Yes, tumalize hapo. I've told Chagulanyi in a telephone conversation which I had, I've told him to document. I've told the opposition, don't be calmed down. Document. Put documents. The crimes being committed. The Electoral Commission is seeing agents of the presidential agents being arrested. If you are not NRM, you can't be an agent at a 34,000 agent polling stations. The RDC, the DC, the local administration, they are locking these boys in what? So, what is this election? What? You people look here. I have seen a professor saying that he came very well. He did what? I came what? Hizi nyoka kama nyoka inakuwa nyoka. Huyu mjamaa alikuja, unasema alikuja namna gani? Who caused the trouble? Who caused the killings? Was the army of Obote killing with water? Was Museveni killing with water? Tell me one bullet that Museveni shot which had water in Luwero. Did it have water? Because it's only a water bullet that cannot hit you. I have been looking for this opportune moment to deliver to the international community, of which the international community listens to some of our eyes. They look at our faces. This is the time to slaughter the animal internationally. Don't panic. Don't panic. The Minister of Foreign Affairs is a thief who cannot even travel in a matatu to US. What country is this? What country is your brother? The brother last born resigns from an election a day before and calls on his supporters to say they have been brutalized because you have been beaten too much. I don't want to see this bloodshed. I have said I've withdrawn from the rest because they want Kutesa's daughter. This is a family issue to take over the Mawogola North constituency. Leo ni leo. Obota alikufa aliwacha mimi. Wengine Muwanga walienda waliwacha mimi. Mimi niko. Mungu analisema nilikuweko. I think you heard my Swahili today. It's not very bad. If I practice it, I might become a very good orator in here. Dr. Mwana always harasses people, but you saw he had to keep quiet because I'm a senior lecturer and he is. And I've taught him one thing to go and ask his students. Then he has agreed we write a book together. Does Africa need an election if you have the types of Museveni here? Do you need an election? Ballot papers that were brought when you don't even know where they were printed from. You don't know what was put in the box. Is this an election? Miriam, munakaa hapo, wacha tuzungumizie tu, lakini mimi nimeshaambia watu, msipige kelele sana, msipigane na watu, Kim utulivu. Sindio utulivu, let's be quiet, document. Document. Don't lose any human being beaten. Document. Don't lose any people who is being held in safe houses. Document. There is a shocker. There is a shocker. In 2006, when they told me to shake hands with Museveni, I asked one thing, Professor Onyari. I said, bring me the files of the people that you have locked up in safe houses. If you bring it to Juba now by jet fighter, by what, deliver it, I will come. Perhaps I will consider shaking your hand. But for now, Your Excellency Dr. Riaka Machar, Salva Kiir, ambassadors, I ask for my delegation to stand up, march out of these peace talks now. And that's an order from me, Brigadier General Matsang. That's my rank. Can we go? Stand up. And I said, all of you now, I'm the chairman, the chief negotiator. Can we leave the room and leave that guy together with his fellow president? You want to come and greet me? You want to greet me with that hand, that hand. Bring me the files. When the UPDF went to northern Uganda, it did not kill people with water. We have been keeping quiet for long. Wacha itoke. We have been keeping quiet for long. It doesn't matter wherever we shall be. We can go. But let me tell you, it is not going to be rosy. The same. Never. Peacefully. It will not be rosy. Rosy. Tutatembea. Huyu na Kiingereza ajui na mzuri. Tutatembea na yeye huyu mjamaa. Yaka degree moja huyu kutoka Dar es Salaam University. Tutakimbizana. Watu wa baba wao wamekufa. Wabibi wao wamekufa. Brothers have been killed. We have kept quiet. We can't go around crying to everybody. Because even a guy from without shoes on Twitter from Tanga can even laugh at you when you have 4,000 pairs of shoes of some you don't even use. Then he says you are useless man, Uganda and elephant, what hippo. So at times you can't cry and expose so many things. Professor, you leave it to life. Let me tell you, Frank, it is now, Professor was talking of a man came and reviewed nicely to Uganda. This guy did not come. This guy said elections were rigged. He decided to go to the bush because elections were rigged. And he fought a war. Then the war was bought near the capital city called Kampala, that where diplomats can see cars being blown up. They tell Al Jazeera, BBC, that William Pike of the Star newspaper, that William Pike you see there is the one who actually made himself to reach international press. So today and the yesterday of Uganda international press, which one is more powerful? Which one is more powerful? Is the one of today, where Professor is not a Kenyan, a Ugandan, but he is here. Where Miriam, your program, have you seen how it has shot up now? We are going into 400 by the end of the day tomorrow. Tutapigana paka mwisho. Sikupigana na bunduki, tutapigana na mdomo. Sisi wengine, we are well accredited international journalists. I am a Commonwealth senior journalist. Even Boris Yeltsin cannot stop me. Boris Johnson cannot stop me from entering Downing Street. In fact, I will sue him the following day. And I can earn money. Because once you are accredited as a journalist of the Commonwealth, you have access to the Prime Minister. But because of the pandemic, the Prime Minister has got to look at the Zoom and say, yes, Matanga, from this newspaper, talk to me. But if you say, don't come to 10 Downing Street, na kufunga old baby, unanilipa. That's why some people have even got richer for nothing. Uko kote zinafanya kazi. The courts work in Britain. So let me tell you, there are two things about these elections. Miriam, I know you have explained everything. And I will, you know, I'm leaving you this task. Because for me, when I talk too much, he's soon going to be on the phone to go to the toilet several times. So I will try to keep myself, my brother Douglas, so that the guy does not go to the toilet several times and drink the milk. You know, I'm quiet. The doors of NTV has shaken the city. You know, I was on NTV, it was live in Kampala. And I've just received, I think, 40 to 60. They are coming. They said, where has this guy been? Where has he been? This is the guy who should be with. Where is he? The city NTV, I think Kampala, they just want to bomb it. Because NTV allowed. And the KTN, they allowed Matanga. And I brought the whole square. The guy has already marked the ballots. Last night he was busy. Luckily enough, he brought one of my top commanders in the city, Paul Lokech. Ndio mtoto nilileta kutoa kwa Road Resistance Army. You know, there is something that I want you to know. These soldiers also have relatives. The policemen have relatives. You send them to beat people. Jamani, watafika time wanaona wanaua watu wengine kwa because I have been in a commander, at least not of a battalion, but a rebel commander, but not like of a. If you see within your group some people doubting your command structure, we resign very fast because Professor, they are going to sit down and camp for you while you are naked. You know, soldiers attack half naked. Do you know why soldiers attack very early in the morning at 5? Have you ever seen a soldier attacking? Ask Miriam. Miriam's dad is a soldier. He attacks. They don't attack during the daytime. Like these lawyers go to the court, wanasimama, oh, I am Harvey, Nelson Harvey. Oh, my foot. You know, we attack at 5 a.m. That is when the sleep is sweeter. Tunakutoa kwa unalala. And so when we attacked some of these barracks, you could see people running with pajamas only. So don't rule out that among these soldiers whom people you are beating, whose vote you are stealing, the people transporting the stolen votes are also, some of them are soldiers. And they, you know, there's reach a point to say, boss, lakini kumbe wewe uko muizi sana namna hivi. You are a thief like this. You are telling us to steal these things and market them at night from our barracks. Kumbe, what other people are saying you are not right. Now, another aspect I want to bring to the international community, those listening to us, is the Electoral Commission is on demand by one man. You in Kenya, you are lucky you have 3. Uganda has one man called Justice Byamukama. President Museveni sacked towards the beginning of COVID-19. He sacked all the commissioners. So they have remained with the spokesman and the chairman. So you tell me that this election can be an election with the chairman who can be sacked by a stroke of a pen. If I were just Byamukama, I could also nullify the election. In fact, international agencies are working. You know, Miriam, listen, they are working very hard. That a shocker. You make your way, you nullify, and say too many irregularities. A scientific election, then you close scientific equipment, you ban the Facebook, you ban Twitter. How are you transmitting this scientific from, if Twitter from MTN is not working? What is working? The only information that is available now is short satellite systems, which Museveni cannot close down. And they are monitored from very far away. He cannot do anything. And those short systems are seeing videos are coming out from the short system of how the vote is being stolen. So if I were Byamukama, I would declare this election nullified. Even before you count, you say, no, I've nullified it. Museveni will not kill him. People have been intimidated. The people coming, they are just looking at the watches. Look at the queue. They want to leave quickly. They want to leave quickly. Medium, because you don't want to be found there. There is a cracker unit called Mogadishu Butcher. The one that made Warrior to cry. Warrior, you know, Warrior doesn't cry anyhow with Mairungi, which comes from Meru. He cries when Mairungi is swallowed down. But Warrior cried in Mogadishu. That's the unity in Kampala. Fanya fuje, uone. Fanya fujo, FFU. And I've called John Lokech. I said, my son, this is a determining point for you. Don't harass Ugandans. You, in the grave, you go alone. I've never seen a grave where you are two. Even if you love Karanja to the extent that you want to see his eyes every morning, you go alone. Even your wife will not go with you. So I said, Elida, why are you saying this? I said, the responsibility is on your arms, your shoulders. You are now manning the police. Be careful. So, in a nutshell, my submission, Miriam, is, as I said yesterday, there is no scientific elections without scientific institutions and equipment. This election was designed, 7 is number 1, 7 is number 2, 7 is number 3, 7 is number 11. But if it was fair to count the vote, if there was fair under COVID, my mom of 90 years last night told me one thing that worried me, that I started voting in 1960. She started voting in 62 when I was only 7 years old. She said for the first time she will vote because she's a nationalist. She will vote something different. If you look at my area, and I'm sure inside there, we are battling by evening tomorrow is hallelujah. The word is enough. The area with 400,000 voters, the people have rebelled. You know the age is 85%, it is you, the Karanjas and the Karimi. They are not taking it anymore. Quietly, they are voting and are going home. If it is well counted, this is the first time that President Museveni has got a test runner for his cash. Thank you. If there are any questions to ask, don't ask me. If there are anybody who wants to stand for Museveni, allow him to come on this platform. We eat him. You can allow divergent views. We can eat him. We educate them. Man who had 500 cows, 5 cows, now you have 50,000 long-horned cows that were taken from somewhere. You know, have you heard of a story of the cows that were taken from Teso? A man came from Teso in 1986, 87, looking for his cows. The army had gone to loot, they looted, they put the cows on a train. On locomotive, Boji, Kiswahili is a Boji, train, wagon.
The wagon.
Well, they put the cows, they stole cows from Tess. The commander who stole the cows is still there. In fact, he's in the political command, high command. Muizi! He stole the cows of the people of Tess. Now this cow knows the owner by smell. It's a true story. So the owner said he had only 4 cows. 1 to educate his children, 2 to marry the daughter, the son, a wife, 3 to leave a cow for milk, and 4, 1 for digging the farm. plowing. So they stole all of them. But the one that was for the milk knows the farmer, smell, the soap, the upper, this one. What is this called? Ambit. So the man landed in Kampala and they went near the railway station. Cows were being brought out. They were being shifted to lorries to be taken to the farm, you know, the crocodile farms. We haven't touched that yet. Those are documentation coming. Now look, the cows started following this man in the Kampala streets. Have you seen a shame? The 4 cows ran, people ran. If you have been in Kampala, Nomani Cinema, where the railway is, the whole of Kampala High Street, Kampala Road, the cows were following the man. The soldiers were also following the cows. Then people said, hey, kumbe waliiba cows hii from Soroti. The eaters suffered. For us, we closed the chapter. We shook hands. We brought peace. The peace has been holding. But now, Miriam, can this peace hold after this theft, which is going to be daytime robbery? And I believe all of you watched me when I told Mwana, does Africa need elections? And that is my question every time, Miriam, do we really know what elections are? So I told one of the leaders of opposition in Uganda yesterday night at 1 o'clock this morning, I said, can you write 2 speeches? He said, for what? This speech has been stolen. Let me write 1 speech of defeat. We have been stolen. The thing is stolen. They don't know how many votes were in the box, because every agent, as he arrives at the station, is arrested. So, yeah. Miriam.
Because, Doctor, you remember after the 2016 ruling when Amama, what is his name?
Amama Baba.
Yes, went to challenge President Yoweri Museveni's win in 2016. And of course, the win was upheld, but the Supreme Court gave a few recommendations that were supposed to be to allow for electoral reforms leading to this year's elections. But the ruling party, through its members of parliament, they brought a totally complete, different list of the things that were supposed to be under the electoral, electoral laws that were supposed to be reviewed. And one of the things that the NRM members of parliament brought to parliament on behalf of the government was that to allow the army and the police officers to vote 5 days before the election. And so we talked about it here, Doctor, and we said this will give a good room for rigging, because you will not know. You can't come and say all these votes in these ballot boxes are not from the army or from the police. And so that was a way the government was going to use to ensure illegal ballots find themselves inside the ballot boxes there. So that
Do you know how many army people Museveni has? Do you know the number of the army? It's about 4 million people. About 4 million. 1 million or 2 million is the regular UPDF use, the one you see in Central African Republic. Have you seen the rebels advancing towards the capital? And the ones you see in Mogadishu, that's regular. Then he has a reserve army, of about 1 million, commanded by General Salim Saleh, a friend of one of your men around Kenya here. I think by now you should know, the business friend of somebody. And then he has another army of veterans. Then now he has another army of Chiboko. These Kiboko men, the ones who use sticks. Have you seen the one that is beating people? There is a reserve commander there. Then now, he has another army of LDU, Local Defense Unit. The one with the uniform, very green, pure green. Hakuna madoadoa. Then, he has another army of ISO. Each parish has a man or a woman. So you tell me, count all those guys.
So it's safe to
say. So if they sat and voted earlier, how many ballots do we have already there? They were supposed to change the law. They refused. So Miriam, don't ask me about the results. In fact, tomorrow, I'm taking a day off to sleep completely because I know the results. And they will come the way I am not going to say here. I've said it elsewhere that this is not an election at all. It's not scientific, because even if scientific election, people transmit. How are you transmitting if you have cut off internet? How are you transmitting the ballot to the tallying center?
All right, thank you, Dr. Matanga. So as we spoke earlier and even yesterday when we were having this conversation, we know that the United States Embassy in Uganda has cancelled plans to observe the voter as accreditations were denied. Ambassador Natalie Brown expressed profound disappointment in a statement saying more than 75% of the accreditations requested had been denied. And earlier on yesterday also, police in Uganda said that officers will be deployed to high-rise buildings in the center of capital Kampala as security measures as voters go to the polls on Thursday. The run-up to the election has been marred by tension and deadly violence. Analysis of a CCTV footage of the protests in November, which followed the arrest of presidential candidate Bobi Wine, had shown that those commanding the protesters were operating from rooftops, a statement from the Kampala Metropolitan Police said. So the army will not just be in the streets of Kampala, but they're also taking over the rooftops, just in case you decide to.
Miriam, why don't you tell your listeners and the viewers that those on rooftops are called snipers?
Yes, so they're saying they're taking over the rooftops there in Kampala. And so that is what is happening there.
Those are snipers now.
Yes.
Who are gonna kill?
Oh.
Those are snipers, yes. The rooftop, if they are taking the rooftop of all high-rise buildings, those are snipers. And the gun they use is called a special gun. The one which has two like this. So you look there and then you say, Karimi, that is Miriam now. She's turning her eye down, now hit. Oh, your sniper. The sniper can finish like so many people.
This is like watching a bad movie, I don't know.
No, listen. If God had somewhere where we can do something else, we could do it other than talking about Uganda elections. There is no election there.
Yes, but we have to talk
about it.
There's
no election there. I'm pleading to the people of Kenya and the world. There is no election there. It is not there. It is a battlefield. It has turned into a battlefield. Therefore, those who want integration of East Africa, integrate it with that type of battlefield. Some of us, the energy is finished. We have remained with the energy of seeing our grandchildren grow. We have talked for so many years. A person like me, I'm the veteran. I'm the only veteran left who has seen many of my friends murdered, allowed to go back to take up big jobs. They don't come. The poison is put in their cups. They call you when you are having your tea during break time. The secretary puts a can to and then when you come back to finish, when you are in the corridor going to that office, you can, you know, you have this cup to finish. You are finishing yourself in the chair. There are people who have died, perished. We have been crying and crying. And the biggest problem, Kidi Mwaga raised a very good point. Kidi said the West has been sustaining this gentleman, which is very true. They use him to go and do operations in the Central African Republic. You mean the Security Council doesn't know that the guy is in the Central African Republic with the Bozize and the Bemba? I stood for Bemba by this time. Wacha wa mshike tena. I will not.
And the
they are
DRC.
moving towards, yeah, Ugandan troops are fighting along with Bozize.
And also in the Democratic Republic of Congo, I think they've been mentioned, cited there as well.
So what do we, what is this? Here, Somalia is having problem with Kenya. A standoff. The man has his elite group. You know, how can you get your son to be your bodyguard? This is Emperor Nero. Because you can't trust anybody else. You have to bring your own kasani kuwa hapa tu kufe pamoja. Mimi kazi kama imekosa. I cannot bring my children to garden. But this is a problem that Africa has. Does Africa therefore, Miriam, your panel as I leave, and I leave you to engage? Because for me, I told you if I talk much, there will be a lot of milk being drunk. So the best is to keep quiet. I'm on my way out to a destination. I will see you again after a few days. Okay. But thank you very much. I want you to take heart. I want Ugandans to vote peacefully. I want Ugandans to listen. I want Ugandans to document for me. Don't worry. Don't do the Lukwago style that you are getting signatures. They are useless. Wachana na signature. There's a shortcut which we have got. Already we have got the foreign minister cannot travel. He's a fish. That what is his name?
Sam Kutesa.
That big thing. A big thing called Kutesa. Have you ever seen a man marrying his daughter to someone in order to get a post? Wallahi ya Mungu. I cannot marry my beautiful daughter, my last born. Sijui ndio ni wanimpatie ministry. Anyway, we have got them. I want them to stay. Why can I buy a ticket for Kutesa to travel with me to US? Ugandan is watching. I'm buying the ticket. Give a challenge. Can we travel together? I will even help him to get a visa. And I leave him in jail in New York. Medium follow the story of the younger brother of President Museveni, who yesterday resigned. He was an independent candidate. He said He cannot take part in an election where people are killing civilians, and they cannot be a party to be blamed for the death of these civilians at night. So me, Kaguta, George Kaguta, I have left. And from now, I beg you people, supporters in my constituency, to vote whoever you want. So doesn't the trouble begin from there?
All right, Doc, thank you so much for that. So opposition presidential candidate Bobby Wine yesterday, remember when we were looking at that press conference that he had yesterday in the morning, and he said his bodyguard was killed yesterday. 2 of his house staff were kidnapped and were taken away, and his driver was killed, and his official security detail was withdrawn, something that should not even be happening there. So he was speaking on the 10th of January with the African News Network, and opposition presidential candidate Bobby Wine told the African News Network that people in Uganda are eager to participate in today's election despite an increasing climate of repression in the country. He said he will only accept results from a credible exercise. So we all know that all checks and balances are just out of the window right now, and all the safeguards that will ensure a free and fair election there are not really guaranteed in this election in Uganda. And failure to which Bobby Wine is saying he will not accept anything outside of a credible election. And we know that cannot be guaranteed. So what are we likely to see, or what weight do these statements from Bobby Wine hold, Douglas?
Thank you, Miriam. And I will kindly ask you, can I do a rejoinder to Eric Motuma, who has written to me on Facebook, so that I'll be at peace and you'll be at peace?
I will read that. What did he say?
He said the claims that I've made against William Ruto are baseless.
Let's not talk about Ruto right now, because we're looking at Uganda's election. So let's just focus on that. Can we do that?
Yes.
I read so much of the comments, and our viewers can write whatever they want, and sometimes.
Thank you, Miriam.
Yes,
yes. Thank you. Mm-hmm. The US has withdrawn from that election. The EU has withdrawn from that election, and every other person that can give credibility to that election has left General Museveni and his army, and also the police force to handle their own thing. And also that is when the safeguards have been removed, it shows that this election has been left to General Museveni for him to mess up. Everyone else is scrapping at this point because General Museveni is left alone, and there is nothing he can be able to do now. He can't force the US to continue supporting him. They have left him alone. And also, everyone that is supporting General Museveni, I urge them to stop, because we have seen people who have donated choppers there. We've seen the butcher of Mogadishu, General Salim Mohammed Saleh, coming to Mogadishu. Those coming from Mogadishu to Kampala to continue butchering the people of Uganda. And the evidence is out there. Everyone has seen that. Bobby Wine cannot accept those results. The opposition themselves, who have also teamed up with Bobby Wine, cannot be able to accept that. No one is going to accept everything that we are seeing in Uganda. We've seen the police move out, and also the army, and take over everything in the country. This shows signs of a dying administration, where the US, who have been supporting General Museveni in the region, are no longer with him. The AU are no longer with him. The only body that is sleeping is the sleeping giant, the AU. And we are calling the AU to speak on Uganda. November 18th and November 19th, over 54 people died in Uganda. What the President of the Republic of Uganda went on TV and said, he said they provoked the police officers. And did that warrant the killing of rioters in Uganda? No. Again, the other person, a boxer was killed in Uganda. General Museveni went on TV and said, I confirmed he was killed by our officers. We are sorry. That is not enough, General Museveni. And also for the people of Uganda, you have seen how General Museveni has been steering elections over time, and today is not an exception. From today, the people of Uganda are going to liberate themselves from this rogue regime of General Museveni, and everyone else who is supporting General Museveni today. We urge the international community to publish their names, to issue travel advisories against them, and also issue sanctions on them. led by the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Sam Kutesa, and other regional leaders who are supporting that. And also the AU should come out of the closet now, because we have seen AU intervene in Mali, intervene in every other country, but why are they shut on the issue in Uganda? The Electoral Commission is biased already, and again, the opposition has issued press conferences as latest as yesterday, and they have said they are not going to accept those results, and they are biased, and also they're in the favor of General Museveni. What we are expecting from this point is that in this coming election, the people of Uganda are going to reject these results in total, even if the Electoral Commission is not going to nullify them. Thank you, Miriam.
Very well. Thank you so much, Douglas. Very well said there. And I know we're holding account, AU, and you've asked very pertinent questions that I see a lot of our viewers here, sorry for that, asking where is AU when we need it. And you cited Mali, you cited other countries that we have seen at tumultuous time before. And AU, you know, when you look at some of these countries, like Mali, like Sudan, like Algeria, like Zimbabwe, and the rest of the countries that have seen a bit of some civil unrest lately, AU, I call it a misgene come lately. It comes after all the chaos have taken place. That has been synonymous with the reaction of AU to some of the most urgent things that are happening in this continent that requires its attention. So a lot of times, to be honest with you, AU has been a big letdown to the continent of Africa, and I can say that without fear of contradiction, because that has been the case and it has been proved. Javan, these statements by Bobi Wine here saying we are not going to accept anything outside of a credible exercise, and from everything that we've been seeing happening there in Uganda, including the shutting down now of internet that could have been used to enhance the transparency to share what is happening there in that election. So obviously a credible exercise is not guaranteed there. So what is likely to happen? Because Bobi Wine is saying,
thank you, Miriam, for that question. What Bobi Wine is saying is that the rebellion, the movement to a regime change have started officially, and come rain, come sunshine, he knows that the election will not be credible. That is a message to his supporters that will not sit plenty when the will of the people will be diverted to support this old regime of dictator Museveni. Therefore, that shows that the people are determined, and they will continue the struggle with or without elections. This is just the beginning. And from today onwards, Miriam, this is the day that the rebellion of the people of Uganda have started, because the international body is watching. Everybody is watching what Museveni is doing. And it's just a matter of time before all these things are documented and justice will be referred to the people of Uganda. Because, Miriam, when you intimidate and you switch off internet, how will this Kenya, and we are on a digital era, that amount to intimidation? We have seen people die on streets during the campaign trail of Bobi Wine. This sends us to vacate office in Uganda. Therefore, the struggle continues, and the people of Uganda should not lose hope. The likes of Bobi Wine should continue from today to ensure that the necessary measures are put in place, and they look for the necessary bodies and agencies so that Museveni will pay for all these misfortunes and mistreatment that is causing the people of Uganda. Therefore, from that point made by Bobi Wine, I agree with him that they should not accept anything less than credibility, verifiable, and transparency in the election. That is not guaranteed, but that is a message that the struggle continues, that the days of Museveni to be in power are numbered, because everybody is watching the kind of things that he is doing. Right. Because when you use army, that is a signal to send to a cold war, intimidation, a mistreatment to the people who are supposed to vote, because some of them might not even go to this polling station because out of fear of these army officers. Therefore, on onset, Museveni is determined to steal this election, but one thing that is clear, he has censored danger, and he knows things are not plenty. And Museveni, wherever he is not sitting pretty. He is a worried man. He has a rough time during his campaign trail, and he knows that the Ugandans are tired of him. And it's just a matter of time, because he cannot kill all of them. He will not kill kill all of them, but people will remain for who will bring change in the country called Uganda.
Okay,
Thank
very
you.
well. And I just wonder, because we saw the heavy presence of the army there in Uganda, which baffles me. I don't understand how you send the army that is supposed to be protecting the country and to be protecting the people. You're sending that army to intimidate the same people. I just don't understand. There's been a heavy, deployment of the army in Uganda in the streets, especially in the urban areas where it is considered Bobi Wine has a huge following because it is the younger generation there. So I guess that is not a coincidence. Now we know President Museveni has been in power for 34 years now. He is one of the longest serving African leaders, alongside the first one, of course, is the president of Equatorial Guinea, and that is Teodoro Nguema, who has been in power for 41 years, followed by Cameroon's President Paul Biya, who has been in power for 38 years, and also the Republic of Congo, the president there, Nguesso, has been in power for 36 years, and now President Museveni comes in fourth. Sort of they were fighting for that slot with the Zimbabwean late president, Robert Mugabe, but Yoweri is number 4 on that list. He's been serving for 34 years, followed by the president of Chad, Idris Deby. But President Museveni is saying, I'm still very strong, and I need 6 more years, or 5 more years for his 6th term there. During that interview Bobi Wine was having, he called on the international community to stop Museveni, and Wine has been arrested countless times on the campaign trail, starting with the very day he was nominated for the presidency on November 3rd, sparking clashes between his supporters and police. Patrick Kamuriat, another presidential aspirant, lost his shoes during this own scuffle with police while trying to file his candidacy papers, and now addresses voters barefoot, a symbolic act of defiance. He's been walking around without shoes since then. Last week on Thursday, Amuriat was arrested and charged in western Uganda for campaigning while seated on top of his car. What? It's just ridiculous. And in December, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo called on Ugandan authorities to hold free and fair elections. And I think yesterday when we were talking, I think Bobi Wine alluded to the fact that they would like the ICC to look into these matters. And I know Doctor has left the conversation there. President Museveni, of course, the elections there are attracting all sorts of, attention, all right? But is he attracting the right kind of attention, especially from the international community, which are monitoring the events there very, very closely, Kitty Morgan? Kitty, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Thank you. Well, the question is, Bobi Wine attracting the right kind of attention? The answer is
President Museveni.
Sorry?
By the heavy-handedness he's showing towards the opposition, he's attracting more attention, especially in these elections that are happening. It's not just presidential, but also they're choosing the members of parliament, and he's attracting a lot of attention because of the antics and what has been happening, leading now to this day that Uganda is voting, and the international community has been monitoring the events there in Uganda very, very keenly. And so, is that a good thing for him?
Well, the fact that Museveni has heavily deployed the military and the police into an electoral process in itself delegitimizes not only his current administration, but even in an event that he rigs himself into power again, it would be a regime that would be coming into office when it will be suffering an acute lack of legitimacy. And therefore, he is shooting himself in the foot. And I don't know why the international community still keen to associate with a man who engages in flagrant violation of basic minimum standards of decency in democratic process. Because if Museveni can engage in such malpractices, I was expecting that not only the African Union, but also the international community, the international community would come out and begin to sanction Museveni as they've done elsewhere. Because this is a case of double standard. One of the countries that today have the worst inflation rate is Zimbabwe. Part of why Zimbabweans are having that rate of inflation is because they were sanctioned by the West. I don't know why it is now taking the West at finding it difficult to sanction Museveni in the face of all these cruelties perpetrated against the people of Uganda.
And Kidi, Bobby Wine and the opposition in Uganda have been calling for these sanctions against President Museveni and the leadership there in Uganda after these elections, because we don't know what will happen. We might predict what will happen, but is it likely that now they might take action on one of these calls and decide to perhaps put sanctions, as you're saying there?
Well, finally, the democracy is winning finally after about 10 years. Because in the last 1 decade, the emergence of the far-right regimes was quickly diminishing the significance of democracy in the global stage. And therefore, the winning of President Joe Biden, we hope, is going to help strengthen democratic regimes across the world. A number of countries are looking at the US as the country that is a symbol of democracy. And when the Americans, as they get the acts together, I hope they are going to reinvigorate attempts and exercises that are going to ensure that they only they only work with democratic regimes and not regimes that have got poor human rights records like Museveni's regime.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kidi. Peter Kayalimba, is it Chalimba? I think KOI in Uganda. I don't know if it's from Uganda there. You pronounce it as Cha, as we say Changulanyi. I think it's Chalimba, if I'm not very wrong. But Peter, thank you for writing to us. You're saying the Ugandan troops are not only in Somalia, Central African Republic, Southern Sudan, as Dr. Matanga says, but they're also in Equatorial Guinea. Okay, and maybe we should look at Uganda's army and their contribution to the chaos in some countries across this region and the Greater Lakes region. Maybe that is a conversation we shall be having soon. And all right, Malisedek Kashumbi, you're saying tunaomba uchaguzi uwe huru na haki, atakayeshindwa kubali matokeo, imani ya Waganda iendelee. Kumbukeni kuna maisha baada ya uchaguzi. So you're saying, you're asking that the elections go there peacefully, and the person who will be defeated accept, and the person who will win, they go ahead, but there's life after the elections there. You've written in Kiswahili. Thank you so much there for that. Professor, during the January 7th press conference there on Zoom, Bobby Wine and his lawyers announced they had filed a complaint against President Museveni at the International Criminal Court, the ICC. The opposition candidate was repeatedly harassed by a police officer while he sat in his car. Of course, we've seen other harassment since he announced his bid to run for the presidency of Uganda, and he has already filed a complaint. So, do you think ICC has been taking some evidence during all this process?
Yeah, Miriam, when you heard Dr. Masanga say that he has asked them they document. Why should someone document? We want evidence. We want, when we tell the outside world that this happened, you will be speaking the truth. You know, as I opened my opening remarks is that this is a struggle, and those people who are in the revolutionary Miriam, they don't give up. One thing which I'm very happy now, the people who are engaging Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is the younger generation. Dr. Masanga and the people of Uganda, they have successfully passed the baton very slowly to the younger generation. I gave you the parable of a snake and the safari ant. Hear this: when you have seen America withdrawing, not observing, Miriam, your elections. When you see the European Union, they have gotten out of there. Where are you going to get your credibility, Miriam? You will only be making noise. And remember, Uganda is even a landlocked country. You will just get landlocked there. So the time for Museveni getting out, the writings is on the wall. Remember how many times you talk about scientific erections, Miriam? And remember, Miriam, look at the Pope Wine, a young boy. You don't even allow him to speak to people. You share the network, you do the social media, and you think you'll make the same? You think the credibility of our neighbor down here, Tanzania, of Magufuli, it remains the same? Who respects him globally? So what I want to say, what I'm trying to say that the time for Museveni is up. The younger generation have taken, and they want to free their country. I hope you have been seeing what's going on the social media, Miriam. The young generation are saying they want their free country. They want to free Uganda. So their route continues. We are at the fourth row, and watch this pace. Uganda is not going to be the same after the elections of today. These last 5 years of Museveni, he will regret why he is clinging on to power. But remember, Miriam, the word of God is sure. If you kill by the gun, if you kill by the sword, you will sleep with the same sword will take you. The same way he took power, he cannot be able to see that the people. Remember, Miriam, when Museveni took power, I was in Form 3. I can remember. I was in Form 3. I have finished. And I was in my 20s. Now I'm doing my 50s. What a hell! What are you doing in power? I hope you can hear the speed of Douglas Bunde, the way he speaks, he expresses himself. Yes. Javan. So the young generation, Miriam, with one of the social media, they are impatient, and they are not going to have time with him.
Douglas, Professor, they're saying after today's elections in Uganda, we know Uganda, according to the electoral laws there, the presidential announcement, the winner has to be made in within 48 hours there. But Professor has said after these elections, Uganda political scene will never be the same again. So what are we likely to see after today's election there in Uganda?
Miriam, I might have known a lot of things, but I don't trust the silence of Dr. David Masanga and other like-minded Ugandans, people who have been fighting since 1981 for a better Uganda. I don't trust their silence, and I don't believe that Museveni is going to serve his 5-year term and come for another term peacefully. I don't believe that they are going to sit down and also watch their dear country go to the dogs for the next 5 years. Remember, he has been sitting for 36 years. Are these people who have been fighting for a better Uganda been sleeping? Never. They are not. What they are doing today, and I believe I'm not holding a brief for them, is that Museveni, after this thing, my educated guess is that Museveni has to leave power by all means, including going to Entebbe and chasing him out of State House, including invading his army, which people have done before, and I believe now it is going to happen in Uganda. My uneducated guess, Professor Jared Onyari, is disagreeing with me, but the truth of the matter is, at this point, it is no longer tenable for Museveni to serve another 5 years. Why? The US that has been using him in Congo, in Central African Republic, in Mogadishu, everywhere, has left him. The European Union has left him. Everyone else has left him. The only people that are with Museveni, General Sarim Sare of the butcher of Mogadishu, and very few politicians who stand to gain from the corrupt deals with Museveni. And at this point, even these people themselves cannot be able to keep Museveni in power any longer. Another perspective that I want you to see is the younger generation of voters that are supporting Bobi Wine. Museveni didn't see that before. He called Bobi Wine a non-starter and every other name, but he has seen those people have been able to define General Museveni. They have been able to come out, including in his own hometown. They went through access rooms to access Bobi Wine and sing songs of freedom and everything. What I believe is that after today, Museveni has stolen the election, it is true. After today, he has commandeered an electoral commission in Uganda that they so biased, but after today, he is going to get a taste of his own medicine after 36 years of sitting on Ugandans. It is no longer going to be the same. I wish the people of Uganda all the best as they remove a dictator. And I also want to thank the US. I want now the US to go on and also put pressure on the AU. The AU has been an hypocrite who has been in the region taking our monies as countries and also not speaking about Uganda. Museveni on 18th and also 19th of November 2020, in a pandemic, killed rioters in Kampala, killed the people of Uganda by the gun. Museveni's days are numbered in Uganda and America has left him. What I'm expecting now is Moment Defaki to issue a statement on Uganda. They are comers, but they should not do that. They should do a statement today concerning Uganda. People that support General Museveni, their days are numbered. We are coming for them too. Those that are in Kenya, we are coming for you. Thank you, I submit, and I believe, and I will repeat again, I don't believe the silence of the people that have been fighting Museveni on this Uganda election. They are working on something, and General Museveni is going to reap power, including if it is through a deal or the back door. We don't care at this point. General Museveni is going home. Congratulations to the people of Uganda for your freedom, because we are removing a dictator.
That's a very enthusiastic speech there, but I don't know if you've watched the past elections, the Douglas of Uganda. Doctor, before I come to you, we were just having our last sentiments, and then you will conclude it for us, please, if you don't mind.
Now, listening from
yes.
Yes. You know that nap of elders of the village under the tree.
And Dr. utatumalizia, sindio? Lakini ngoja niende kwa Jevan. Isaac Barrow, one of our viewers here, is saying Museveni stopped Bobi Wine to campaign in central region of Uganda, but Museveni, he continued campaigning in central region. He's so scared of Bobi Wine. What a shame. So the kind of force that we've been seeing meted on Bobi Wine from Museveni, from the government there, why do you think that is so? Do you think President Museveni is he feels spited that a young man of 38 years old, younger than perhaps is his firstborn there, has the audacity to think he can remove him from power? And how is Uganda likely to move on, the scenario from today's election moving forward? Jevan, as we conclude.
Yeah, thank you very much, Miriam, for that question. And it's true that a new dawn has come to the people of Uganda, and they have decided now enough is enough. Gloves off, now it's time to face the person who have been intimidating them, violating their rights and denying them basic facilities, service delivery and development in that country. When you lack development in terms of the human rights development and accountability, then that country is not in the right direction. Therefore, the people of Uganda have decided that now is the time. And Miriam, one thing that is clear is that Museveni underrated, belittled, and thought that Bobi Wine was a man who would not take momentum, and through his ways of intimidation, maybe he would quit the race even before it reaches where it is. But things proved otherwise, and he has come to see that Bobi Wine was determined, and not Bobi Wine per se, but Bobi Wine has a representation, the younger generation. They are tired. These are the people in the social media. That is where the momentum was taking shape. And I was following the Ghetto TV that was doing a live coverage of Bobi Wine campaign. And you could see the number of people, not only from Uganda, but young people across the continent who are watching and seeing what is happening. Therefore, the young people have taken shape, and they are determined to ensure that this person who have been in power when they were born, they went to university, they graduated, they married, they have kids they are taking to school, is still in power. Now is the time they have their shareable and their fair share of the resources in the Uganda. And in terms of leadership, they want also to have a voice there. And that have been the power. And the slogan of people's power has taken shape all across. Therefore, this shows that Museveni After belittling the Bobby Wine, he has come to see that this man was determined, and he has given him sleepless nights. And you have seen how he has prepared, using the military, using all means of intimidation, denying them access to the Electoral Commission to submit their papers and so on. Therefore, Museveni, for the first time, he is a worried man, and this was just a present, Mr. Museveni. Things are getting tougher as we go. The terrain is becoming slippery as we move on, because people who have been fighting for revolution, the likes of Dr. David Masanga, now there's a chance to finish this guy completely, and other international agencies, because now there's a loophole, there's a chance to get this man by the neck, and that is it. And it's yet come because a young man was determined. Therefore, we should not underrate the power of the social media, and it's therefore shameful for for Museveni to cross all this internet connection, because that is where the power of this era is, and that is intimidation, and he will not sit plenty, because whether without internet, without power, without whatever things that he is denying these people, they are determined to cast their vote for change, and that is the spirit across the Uganda. And the Museveni, I hope this time round, even if he forces himself to power, will have a tough time, and he might not even finish this term before he ends to where he belongs to. Thank you.
Okay, very well. And Isaac Barrow, you're saying Museveni aende nyumbani alale na achunge ng'ombe zake, tumechoka na dictator. I guess you're a Ugandan. Now, where are you texting us from, and how are you able to access internet? Because from all we know, internet access has been denied in Uganda, or maybe you're here in Kenya. Akidi, what are we likely to see after today's election moving forward in Uganda?
Miriam, what we are likely to see in Uganda are two things. One is a peaceful transfer of power from Museveni to Kyagulanyi. And if that scenario happens, there is one thing that Kyagulanyi will have to embark on very, very fast and very aggressively. That is reordering the economic structure of Uganda, because you realize that there is a number of young people who have been left destitute because of the way because of the economic structure of Uganda as it is right now. It favors very few, those who had the military, those who had the executive, and those who have been cronies of Museveni. So that the new regime would have to quickly design how to ensure that money is put in the pockets of the young people who are the bulk of the population and which form the core constituency of Kyagulanyi. The other scenario is a possibility of Museveni still clinging to power, either by rigging or by simply being defeated but still clinging to power. In such a scenario, I expect to see an increased defiance by Kyagulanyi and co, and all of us who are supporting peaceful democratic processes to ensure that ultimately the will of the people of Uganda is respected. Thank you.
All right, Doctor, before you come in, allow me to just read a few comments from our viewers here, and then you conclude the show for us. Sabina Cheji Kapayo saying Museveni has killed innocent Ugandans since the campaign started, and today we don't know how many he's going to kill. Let us pray for Ugandans. Jocelyn Mirembe, you're saying we need change and freedom in Uganda. Thank you so much for we are crying too much in Uganda. Museveni, leave Uganda. And Moka, you're saying Museveni, get your knee off our necks. Ugandans can't breathe. And Emmanuel Akwete-Reho, you're saying when you read about all the strong emperors which have ever happened, there's raising and fall of so and so emperors. So this is the fall of Museveni. And Nalutswaka Monica, you're saying we want change in Uganda. So we see Jamal Johnson, you're saying Museveni must be defeated. He is terrible and must go. Over and over our viewers writing today, and a lot of them from Uganda, and they're saying, come on now, we cannot breathe 34 years. That's enough. Doctor, conclude for us.
I have been pondering as I put my head down to avoid the tears to go out. This country needs help. I plead with my people of Uganda to maintain the decorum despite the provocations heaped on them by security agencies. I appeal to the African Union to find out, to institute an inquiry into the methods of campaigning during this corona COVID-19 pandemic. I also propose that no country in Africa, including Kenya, should conduct elections of this nature under the corona pandemic. Officers are on the rooftops of buildings, snipers ready to kill. In COVID conditions, I've seen thousands of Ugandans queuing up with their masks on. I appeal to them to continue wearing their masks. Stick in the line if you have not voted. Reach there before 4 p.m. because once you are inside, nobody will take you out. The voting can even go on for 10 days. That's what the Constitution says. The voting is not going to end tonight because the number of killed, the number of people who have come out today, despite the military presence, is huge. It is the determination of the people oppressed for 36 years under a man who came to say he's not coming for just a change, but fundamental change. Indeed, we have really seen the fundamental change. There are good things that have happened. And one of the good things that the government must have done is security in terms of keeping the people, not murdering themselves, but then spoiling the security by bringing the police to brutalize the people. Uganda's security situation had gone down to a very good since the war ended. We have now spoiled it. We have spoiled it. Let's peacefully engage. Let's peacefully document. Let's peacefully follow out all the channels, peaceful channels, through the Supreme Court. And I want to ask Justice Owinyi Ndolo, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Uganda, that my brother, you remember the day we flew together into Congo forest on the same flight, same choppers, going to look for peace. Can you look back and listen to my voice? That when we are on that military chopper that was taking us to look for the men who had slaughtered hundreds and hundreds of people in northern Uganda. You said our country has suffered a lot. I want to thank you, David, for joining, being a non-Acholi, a non-Luo, for heading this delegation. I think this time we shall get the peace. That's what Chief Justice Owinyindol told me, said in that plane. Now, Chief Justice, Your Excellency, my Lord, you have seen the torture, you have seen the maiming, you have seen the defilement of the electoral system. You have seen candidates have not seen the boxes. They don't know what was in the box. You have seen the stoppage of candidates, agents being arrested, being detained. There are no agents at the polling stations, only agents of one party. What else do you want us to say? The ball is in your court. To the Electoral Commission of Uganda, the time is flying so fast. By the way, I don't know whether you Kenyans knew that the Electoral Commission of Uganda is the same as the one of Kenya. It is one-man show. Museveni sacked all the other commissioners and they left only one man, Choli Biamukam. So you tell me, is that not a deal done? It's deal. But by the way, whatever the situation may be, I just want to tell you and to keep you confident. There is one thing. This is the first time the regime has been shaken. This is the first time this small young man of mine. You see, I want to take this opportunity now to tell you that the vice chairman, the vice president of NUP, is Matanga's cousin, so that you don't doubt. I want to tell you, John Baptiste Nambe, don't panic. You have stood in for me. You have done very well. You shall write the documents that they want. But document, don't worry. That is what leadership is. Had I been very hungry for leadership, to be known in the capitals, would I have allowed somebody else? Go and check your records. Who is the vice chairman, the vice president for NUP? It's the only one MP who defected, who refused the NRM, who carried my mother this morning to go and vote. Luckily enough, my mother's polling station was very close. So, viva, 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 viva. It might take time, but God has a way to work out miracles. I thank God. And for Kenyans, don't worry. Nobody should disrupt the relationship between Kenya and Uganda because of elections. Nobody. Kenya has been neutral and it remains neutral. If you have shut up your internet and your neighbor has his internet, what's your problem? Why do you think they should also shut your internet? Wewe wacha ujinga yako hiyo. Wachana na ujinga yako, wewe kwenda tafutia uangalie ng'ombe zako. Wewe nafikiri sisi unaua baba yetu, unaua na wabibi yetu. Wacha. Chunga ng'ombe zako. Don't make people very upset. Kenya cannot close its internet. This internet is everywhere, even Indian Ocean, except where flight number 370 of Malaysia went. You know, this guy thought he's very clever, but now he's finding even the images are getting out of Uganda. Mr. Museveni, you allowed the short. Do you know what a short range satellite is? Or do you want me to show you how it looks like? So that you can panic even go to the toilet more. Short range satellite. You can close the internet. People are using, in fact, by evening, all the pictures from your place are going to be coming. Yeah, we know the deployment movement. They are going to know. So don't worry. You left it too late. You have too many enemies surrounding you. Some of them are sleeping dogs. People don't trade. You have your trucks impounded. For 1 year, they can't cross. The man wants to release your trucks to come. Miriam, listen. The man wants to release your trucks to come, but he says if they will ask that whose trucks are these that are special? Musikie jameni. Hii Mungu tunaomba. Mungu tunaomba haki ya Mungu. Hata kama unakuwa umetupatia a lot of punishment. Umetupatia sana miaka 36. We know you gave the Jews even, was it 600 years? Please, but please.
400 years.
Hii kitu, yes, please, hii kitu inauma sana. Uko na trucks which you make money. They are across Rwanda. You go and complain to Kagame to release them. He says, Matanga, I know you. I will release the trucks. Where will they pass? You see the pain that people go through, which we cannot explain to anybody. Then mtu anakupata hapa kwa social media, anakuchanganya na maneno because Ruto has given him 4,527. Our Ruto na nani na Salim Saleh, they are trading. We are not trading. Nani alikuambia mambo ya Ruto kunani? Nani alikuwa anakutishatisha? Atishatishe mimi saa hii. Fucking. Tishatisha mimi. Musikie. The pain is now here. I cannot even have any living. Nyenye. Nani alikutishatisha? Yeah, you people don't know. We suffer because we have of age. We suffer. We cannot go to the battlefield anymore. But you cannot treat people the way you can't. Look at that example. You end up selling your commodity at a giveaway price because you cannot. You cannot cross the tracks. People will ask you. This side will say registration number, wanaona jina wewe kwisha, that you are carrying things for Mr. Chagulanyi or for Besige. So you see that it's okay. So thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much, Miriam.
And Doctor, it's not just you, but a lot of Ugandans. Just reading through the comments section here, we have a lot of Ugandans present and other Africans across the world in support and in solidarity with the Ugandan people there.
A man comes, Miriam, before you conclude, a man comes and says, a man comes to London where you have run. You have, Her Majesty has given you asylum. Oh. Her Majesty has given you asylum, and the man comes to London and tells you make noise here. But if I were you, these are the type of people we kill. This is a civilized nation. You talk of killing people, even the pilot will not airlift you in a plane. But I was told in front of 20,000 English, white, American, world delegates. So hiyo ndio maneno. Wacha tuachie hayo, naomba Mungu. Asante sana Miriam for the show. I'm preparing for another show on Sky Arise News coming next at 1:45 to 1:45. Yeah, it's in another 20 minutes. Asante sana. Vote with peace, stay with peace. Just document the events. Besige knows the way forward. I will also add the way forward later. But he has the code. Don't harass. Don't fight back. Don't attack the snipers. No, just if possible, use those silent cameras to pick them. They are in thousands there. Don't worry. Those short range satellites have those short cameras. Where? Don't fight them. Don't throw stones. Take documentation. They will be needed.
All right, Doctor. Thank you so much, Enoch Hammond. As we conclude the show, you're saying thank you. Don't mind the above. And there's something here. Another lady, I think, wrote that I think was very profound. Christopher Sempele, you're saying you're watching from India. Thank you so much for joining. And she said it is so sad as a mother when you watch your son being gunned down in front of you. And so that is what has been, yes. Sabina Akeji Kapai, you're saying it's very painful for us as mothers, someone to shoot your son in front of you. How do you feel? And you're saying you're watching us from Australia. Thank you so much for joining us, and a very good evening to you. I know it's evening there in Australia right now. And all of you who have been writing to us, keep writing. And someone is just wondering, Museveni has been there for 36 years now, of course, as a president for 34 years. And right now he's still promising jobs to Uganda. When is it likely to deliver? And he's been there.
The only job that is very quick in Uganda is to join the army and get AK-47, a new one. Then job number one, assassination. Look for Matsanga, look for this, look for the window of George Jakulanyi. Don't make sure it doesn't go out. That is the easiest job you can get now in Uganda.
He's been enjoying a lot of state security. The army, surrounding his home 24 hours.
For example, now, Mr. Chagulanyi is being trailed by 122 people we have seen in the satellite. That is mounted somewhere in one of the cars. You know, he's being trailed because they say they are going, that he's going to escape to American embassy or one of the European embassies. So, boss, things are coming. Wachana na hiyo maneno. You have done your best. You came from 5 cows to now 500,000 cows. This is very good with a crocodile pond of 600 crocodiles. So these things are very good. A farm of 600 crocodiles. That's why Mogadishu people don't go there to bomb. Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right. Thank you so much, Umar Kiduli, watching from Kuwait. And thank you so much, Lule the Emperor, you're watching from Calgary, Canada. Moby Jeddah, you're watching from Australia. Tango Go, you're watching from the United States. And who else? Lamek Banda, you're watching from Zambia. And the rest of you, wherever you're watching us, Mua Nguzi Hakim, you're watching from Rwanda. Thank you so much. This has been the People's Court. This conversation shall continue tomorrow as we see the latest in regards to the Ugandan election there. As we said earlier, Uganda has gone to its election there, and so let's wait and see what will be the results, because the Electoral Commission of Uganda is expected to relay out the results within 48 hours. Thank you so much, Professor Onyari, for your time today. Thank you, Douglas Kirimi from Meru. Thank you, Jevan Karanja from Nanyuki, and thank you, Kidi Mwaga from Nairobi, and of course, thank you so much, Dr. Matanga, and the rest of you who are joining right now from Canada, from UAE. We appreciate your time. Let's have this conversation later on. My name is Miriam Mogotu. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.
My colleagues, the Honorable Amoriat and General Montu, and to further mention that we cannot take so much time overemphasizing on the impunity and lawlessness that we have had to stand the last 2 months. As you all know, ladies and gentlemen, standing against General Museveni is a more dangerous crime than any crime we know here in Uganda. As we stand here today, abductions are ongoing, killings are ongoing, and arrests are ongoing. Just my entire team was arrested in Kalangala. Only 46 were released. More than 100 continue to languish in prisons. Many arrests are ongoing. Last night, there were raids on more of my team members and some of the leaders of the National Unity Platform. Mr. Rule David Wanika, also known as Selector Devi, was raided by the military. His doors broken and he was taken away. Nobody knows where he is. Last night, one of our team members, my driver sometimes and works mainly as a mechanic, One Katerega, was shot by the military and he passed away this morning. And again this morning, my house was raided. 2 of my gardeners were taken away and my security guard was beaten very, very badly. That is what we have to deal with, ladies and gentlemen. But while this is ongoing, the Electoral Commission is silent. We have reported numerous times to the Electoral Commission. We've informed them that even the polling agents that we sent out there, even the coordinators that have been identifying and recruiting polling agents are being rounded up and arrested and charged with recruiting rebels. That is the election under General Museveni. The Electoral Commission has been conspicuously silent and continues to be silent even when we raise these complaints, both physically and in writing. The only time the Electoral Commission has come up is to actually castigate the victims, us. The Electoral Commission recently continued to expose its bias by stopping me from further campaign. And indeed, I've not been able to campaign for the last 5 days because the Electoral Commission said I had to sign an illegal memorandum of understanding with them. That is where we are. We know that all this is being done to intimidate and discourage people. We know that by deploying the military and police in all places, by arresting our members, by arresting people indiscriminately, the regime is trying to discourage Ugandans from turning up in large numbers and vote. So I will not dwell on the challenges that we are facing. Let me go straight to the message that all of us as the forces of change seek to communicate to you this morning. We are raising our voice in unison and agreeing that indeed it is time for Uganda to have change. We are therefore adding our voices together to call upon all of you fellow Ugandans to turn up in large numbers and vote. By now, all voters have made up their mind. By now, we know all voters know who they want to vote for. But most importantly, we are convinced that all voters in Uganda would want a better Uganda, a peacefully changing Uganda. Therefore, we call upon all of you fellow Ugandans to turn up and vote. Please communicate this message to everybody you know and help those that cannot carry themselves to the polling station, the old and the weak and the ill. Help them to be able to assert their voices. And besides voting, we continue to call upon you to be vigilant and protect the vote. Stay there. There's nothing in the law you will be breaking by staying on the polling station. We've continuously advised fellow Ugandans to always wear face masks and observe social distance. But this is one day that we believe is going to change the destiny of this, our country. So we encourage all the voters to turn up and vote and stay there and guard the vote. Do not be discouraged by the illegal pronouncements of Mr. Byabakama and the military and other security forces. I've said it before and I'm saying it again that Mr. Byabakama is a civil servant. The Electoral Commission and all the leadership of the Electoral Commission, those are servants of the people. They are not bosses. They are under the law. They are governed by the law, the same law that governs everybody else in Uganda. And we are telling you that you will not be breaking the law when you stand and watch your vote. We know that General Museveni prides himself in vote rigging. But again, it has been our call for we, the leaders, and for the people of Uganda to unite. We are convinced that the people of Uganda are going to be united. And we are here to demonstrate our unity. So we encourage all of you, ladies and gentlemen, turn up in large numbers. Encourage every voter you know to turn up and vote. Don't say, we are so many voters, even if I don't come. No. The future of Uganda needs every single vote. It is your individual vote that is going to change the future of this country. And be there and watch the election. Be there and watch the process. We've also been encouraging you, and we will continue to encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, to use your phones, to use your cameras. We had Mr. Byabakama discouraging people from using phones. We are glad that he, capitulated. We are glad that the Electoral Commission came up with a statement and making it clear that it is okay for people to use their phones. It was indeed okay then, just like it is okay now. So please use your phones. Your phone is a very powerful weapon. That camera that you have on your phone, please use it. Use it most importantly to record that particular moment when the presiding officer is declaring the results on the polling station. We need every kind of evidence. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I also want to take this opportunity to encourage those that have gotten the application that the National Unity Platform revealed recently, the U-Vote application. Although we are still getting challenges to have our people access it through Google Play Store, we are making every effort to share it, to share the link. And those out there that can continue sharing the link, please share that link. There's a section where only the certified, the official agents can send in the declaration forms and the results, and there's also a section for the general public. And I also want to remind you that by law, the Electoral Commission is required to pin a copy of the declaration of result form on every polling station. So fellow Ugandans, it is our national responsibility. It's a responsibility of every citizen of Uganda, not just we the leaders, not just the political party leaders, not just the presidential candidates and all other candidates. It's a responsibility of all of us. We've been calling upon you to take this upon yourselves. Let us do this as a nation. We are united as the forces of change in calling upon you to turn up and vote, in guarding and protecting the vote, but we continue to appeal to fellow Ugandans to do the same, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, I want to send a message to the Electoral Commission, Mr. Byabakama and the team.
Contestants did not follow the COVID regulations. They were defying the regulation of not congregating, and they were gathering sizable numbers of people, which of course would facilitate infection. I campaigned in the whole country by using indirect methods, holding leaders' meetings of not more than 200 people, or if there are more than 200, separated in the same venue, then using the radios. Even when I would come across large gatherings which would gather spontaneously, I would not come out to wave to them. Instead, I would sit inside the car and drive slowly, wave to them from inside the car, and continue. Nevertheless, the campaigns have now come to an end. The voting is the day after tomorrow. I call upon all registered voters to come out and vote. There have been practices of intimidation where especially the opposition people have been threatening people not to come out and vote. In some areas, they have even attacked peaceful citizens. I held a meeting with the security forces. They are ready to defend you. Therefore, don't fear anything. Come out and vote. Nobody will intimidate you. Nobody will attack you. If anybody tries to do that, we shall get him or her. So therefore, don't fear anything. Go out and vote. You saw how the rioters were defeated in Kampala here. There's no threat we cannot defeat. Don't miss the chance to vote. You go out and vote. We shall defend you. We have got all sorts of means. Simple means and complex means. There's no part of Uganda where we cannot reach, if not on foot, but by air, using all sorts of modern technology. I urge all citizens to keep peace. Keeping peace is a duty, it's not a favor. Sometimes some youth, especially in Kampala area, they come and tell me how they are planning this, how their leaders were telling them to plan bad things. You should tell everybody that keeping peace is a duty, it's not a favor. If you try to disturb peace, you'll have yourself to blame. The security forces, following the law, are ready to deal with any troublemaker. Therefore, do not be tempted to blame.
My colleagues, the Honorable Amoriat and General Montu, and to further mention that we cannot take so much time overemphasizing on the impunity and lawlessness that we have had to stand the last 2 months. As you all know, ladies and gentlemen, standing against General Museveni is a more dangerous crime than any crime we know here in Uganda. As we stand here today, abductions are ongoing, killings are ongoing, and arrests are ongoing. Just my entire team was arrested in Kalangala. Only 46 were released. More than 100 continue to languish in prisons. Many arrests are ongoing. Last night, there were raids on more of my team members and some of the leaders of the National Unity Platform. Mr. Rule David Wanika, also known as Selector Devi, was raided by the military. His doors broken and he was taken away. Nobody knows where he is. Last night, one of our team members, my driver sometimes and works mainly as a mechanic, One Katerega, was shot by the military and he passed away this morning. And again this morning, my house was raided. 2 of my gardeners were taken away and my security guard was beaten very, very badly. That is what we have to deal with, ladies and gentlemen. But while this is ongoing, the Electoral Commission is silent. We have reported numerous times to the Electoral Commission. We've informed them that even the polling agents that we sent out there, even the coordinators that have been identifying and recruiting polling agents are being rounded up and arrested and charged with recruiting rebels. That is the election under General Museveni. The Electoral Commission has been conspicuously silent and continues to be silent even when we raise these complaints, both physically and in writing. The only time the Electoral Commission has come up is to actually castigate the victims, us. The Electoral Commission recently continued to expose its bias by stopping me from further campaign, and indeed I've not been able to campaign for the last 5 days because the Electoral Commission said I had to sign an illegal memorandum of understanding with them. That is where we are. We know that all this is being done to intimidate and discourage people. We know that by deploying the military and police in all places, by arresting our members, by arresting people indiscriminately, the regime is trying to discourage Ugandans from turning up in large numbers and vote. So I will not dwell on the challenges that we are facing. Let me go straight to the message that all of us as the forces of change seek to communicate to you this morning. We are raising our voice in unison and agreeing that indeed it is time for Uganda to have change. We are therefore adding our voices together to call upon all of you fellow Ugandans to turn up in large numbers and vote. By now, all voters have made up their mind. By now, we know all voters know who they want to vote for. But most importantly, we are convinced that all voters in Uganda would want a better Uganda, a peacefully changing Uganda. Therefore, we call upon all of you fellow Ugandans to turn up and vote. Please communicate this message to everybody you know and help those that cannot carry themselves to the polling station, the old and the weak and the ill. Help them to be able to assert their voices. And besides voting, we continue to call upon you to be vigilant and protect the vote. Stay there. There's nothing in the law you will be breaking by staying on the polling station. We've continuously advised fellow Ugandans to always wear face masks and observe social distance. But this is one day that we believe is going to change the destiny of this, our country. So we encourage all the voters to turn up and vote and stay there and guard the vote. Do not be discouraged by the illegal pronouncements of Mr. Byabakama and the military and other security forces. I've said it before and I'm saying it again that Mr. Byabakama is a civil servant. The Electoral Commission and all the leadership of the Electoral Commission, those are servants of the people. They are not bosses. They are under the law. They are governed by the law, the same law that governs everybody else in Uganda. And we are telling you that you will not be breaking the law when you stand and watch your vote. We know that General Museveni prides himself in vote rigging. But again, it has been our call for we, the leaders, and for the people of Uganda to unite. We are convinced that the people of Uganda are going to be united. And we are here to demonstrate our unity. So we encourage all of you, ladies and gentlemen, turn up in large numbers. Encourage every voter you know to turn up and vote. Don't say, we are so many voters, even if I don't come. No. The future of Uganda needs every single vote. It is your individual vote that is going to change the future of this country. And be there and watch the election. Be there and watch the process. We've also been encouraging you, and we will continue to encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, to use your phones, to use your cameras. We had Mr. Byabakama discouraging people from using phones. We are glad that he, capitulated. We are glad that the Electoral Commission came up with a statement and making it clear that it is okay for people to use their phones. It was indeed okay then, just like it is okay now. So please use your phones. Your phone is a very powerful weapon. That camera that you have on your phone, please use it. Use it most importantly to record that particular moment when the presiding officer is declaring the results on the polling station. We need every kind of evidence. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I also want to take this opportunity to encourage those that have gotten the application that the National Unity Platform revealed recently, the U-Vote application. Although we are still getting challenges to have our people access it through Google Play Store, we are making every effort to share it, to share the link. And those out there that can continue sharing the link, please share that link. There's a section where only the certified, the official agents can send in the declaration forms and the results. And there's also a section for the general public. And I also want to remind you that by law, the Electoral Commission is required to pin a copy of the declaration of result form on every polling station. So fellow Ugandans, it is our national responsibility. It's a responsibility of every citizen of Uganda, not just we the leaders, not just the political party leaders, not just the presidential candidates and all other candidates. It's a responsibility of all of us. We've been calling upon you to take this upon yourselves. Let us do this as a nation. We are united as the forces of change in calling upon you to turn up and vote, in guarding and protecting the vote, but we continue to appeal to fellow Ugandans to do the same, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, I want to send a message to the Electoral Commission, Mr. Byabakama and the team.
I appeal to all Ugandans to really be patriotic for once.